Hey, welcome to another episode of MINI-BTP, a mini beyond the pod. It's where we just take one topic and discuss it for a couple of minutes. I'm Brandon Mileski, Pat Micheletti with me. And Pat, our topic today, can Calen Addison ever be more than a power play specialist? Go ahead.
Okay, I think he can, Brandon. And here's the deal. What he has to come to terms with and quit fighting is instruction and advice from his coaches. He's a very talented player, but he's a very young player. And I think, and it happens to everybody, where they think, well, no, I'm just gonna continue to do it my way. Um, I think he can do it in Minnesota, not under the current situation because of what we've talked about in the past with the size of Minnesota's defense. But I do think he is an NHL player. I think he can become a more than serviceable player, but he has to start listening, whether it be to older guys or his general manager or his coach.
You know, a lot was focused on his defensive play last year, and rightfully
Yep.
so, because, I know plus minus is a flawed stat. But
Yes.
when you're on a you're a minus 17 on a winning team that has a bunch of pluses around the lineup, and no one's really close to your minus 17, that's a little concerning, especially when he's going up against, he's being protected while he's out there 5-on-5 as
Yes.
well, right? He's not going out against top lines too often, so the defensive element's scary for me. But I also don't think he was that great offensively. Clearly, the power play stats, and I don't think anyone would go against that. He put up good numbers on the power play, and the power play was good when he was out there. 5-on-5, he didn't really produce a whole lot, Pat, offensively. And so it's more than just, hey, we need to fix the defensive part of your game. He also has to fix the way he plays offense 5-on-5.
Yeah. And I think that's with just, you know what, listening and learning how to play in the NHL. You know, and I because he has the skill, he can shoot the puck, he can skate. He can get himself out of trouble. He can recover quickly because of his skating. And so I think it's just one of those I have to mature moment. I've got to grow up. I've got to listen, and then just let his skill set take over. But right now, I think he's fighting it. Then he gets frustrated. Then he tries to do too much. Then it hurts him offensively and defensively. And it's not so much about the plus minus because it can be flawed. Just watch his game and the decision making that has happened to him in the past year, and I think that plays a big part of it. But it's not something that can't be fixed. I just don't think it's going to happen here based on what Minnesota has
Well,
defensively right now.
his flaws can be fixed, Pat, but unfortunately, I think it's got to come from him, right? I know
Yeah.
there's a
Oh,
lot
you're
of
right.
there's a lot of people focused on the coaching, and you got to coach him up. If you watch his play, Pat,
Yep.
he doesn't compete. He doesn't battle in front of your own net. He doesn't battle in the corners, and that's just
Hmm.
something that has to click with him. And I get his size; he's
Yep.
173 pounds going up against bigger players. But um, to me, he gets pushed around big time in those areas. And to your point about maybe not working on this team already has some other smaller defensemen,
Yeah.
and um, right now, I don't see a scenario in which he's going to crack your top four.
No.
So if you're going to be on a third pairing defenseman, you got to be able to block shots. You got to be able to kill penalties. You got to be able to go up against rugged forwards on the other team. And frankly, from what I saw this past year, Pat, he hasn't shown me any desire to do that. Now, maybe this is his come to Jesus moment because he knows
Yeah.
this is a big year in his career. And maybe this offseason it clicks in his head and he says to himself, hey, I got to become more of a professional. I got to battle a little bit more in those situations. But from what I've seen up until this point, I haven't seen that element of his game. And frankly, it's not on the coaching staff to fix it. It's on him to figure it out in his own brain.
100%, Brandon. I think it's more of a poor me, and I'm feeling sorry for myself, and whatever the case may be. But you're 100% right. He has to say, okay, I've got to change. I've got to be the one to make it happen because it's there. And, and it may be because he's young and he needs to grow and mature, from that perspective. So, we'll see what happens. But, and maybe the kid needs a fresh start to understand that too. We'll see what happens this summer.
Well, and if he's not going to be that great defensively, then he needs to elevate to being an elite offensive
Elite,
defenseman.
right?
Or just more than
Yes,
just power play. And he didn't score a power play goal. All of his points were assists last year.
right.
He's got to contribute from a goal scoring standpoint. He's got to contribute offensively 5-on-5 to let you be able to forgive some of the defensive mishaps. Pat, thanks a lot. We'll talk to you next time.
Thanks, Brandon.
All right, this has been another episode of Mini-BTP.